to Florida Writer Podcast, a discussion about writing and other things.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Florida Writer Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Nissen, and today I am lucky enough to have with me Lawrence Knorr. Lawrence, give me a 60-second elevator pitch about who you are and what you publish.
Well, I am the founder and CEO of Sunbury Press Incorporated, based out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, not Sunbury, Pennsylvania, which we can talk about another time. But we are a traditional publisher to the trade. We have over 500 authors, 800 titles under management. Currently, we've been in business since 2004. We publish in a variety of categories under 10 different imprints worldwide, wherever books are sold. And it's been an exciting ride, especially in recent months, but we're going strong and looking forward to a great 2020 the rest of the way.
So 2020 has been a very interesting year. What has 2020 done to change the publishing market?
Well, 2020 has turbulence, probably a good word. Yeah, it's been a bit up and down. So we started out with the greatest beginning of a year that we've ever had. And at that point, we're seeing a lot of print sales, a lot of online sales. And then what happened with the pandemic is that started to hit, the lockdown started. We got a lot of returns from bookstores. So we started to become concerned about that and the whole brick and mortar book network. So we shifted more towards digital, and we made sure that our new publications were coming out ebook in addition to print. And what we've seen is a definite trend there where publishing those formats simultaneously, we've got almost a tripling of ebook sales over the last 3 months, more so than historic trends. So one of the things that's happened is definitely more attention on the digital formats. And then we've also started an initiative internally to publish audiobooks. We've done a few audiobooks over the years. We know audio is a popular format and growing. And so we're jumping into that full force to add that to the mix for just about every title that we can. Definitely a change in the speed at which we do the digital products and the offering that we have. I'm thinking, we put out a book called After the Pandemic. It was a compilation from a number of our authors, including myself, where we talked about what's life going to be after the pandemic and what things are going to change. It was more of a visionary approach to different aspects of society, and I talked about the economics. And one of the things I see is a more accelerated pace of change. So things that were already trending just were sped up incredibly fast. Like a lot of your failing brick and mortar retail, you saw them fail during this period because they were on the brink anyway. So that sort of plays out throughout the whole economy. And in publishing, I'm very concerned about some of the bookstores and the chains that were sort of hanging on the edge of profitability. Are they going to make it? And I'm very worried that Amazon is going to get an even bigger chunk of the marketplace. So in our response to that is to try to sell books directly more than we ever have, and to also have these other digital formats ready to go.
You are a traditional press, and what type of support do you offer services, and has that changed from pre-CV19 to now?
I'd say while we're a traditional press, we're not traditional in that all our employees work from home, and we're already connected on a network, and we're working in the cloud and collaborating online. So all that is pretty much the same, and the way we interact with our authors is pretty much the same. But I think what's changed might be some of the things that we're looking for as a publisher. And as far as what differentiates us, we should probably mention what is a traditional publisher and why are we calling ourselves that? That means that we take on the investment that's necessary to publish a book. So we do the editing, we do the design work, we do the cover design, we do all the registration, all the distribution. So an author has no expense with us except their, the time they spent writing, and then the assistance they give with editing, the feedback, and the feedback they give on our progress. So that's why we call ourselves traditional. We only make money by selling books. And there are other publishers that make money by selling services to create books, and we don't do that. So you have varieties of in the business, anything from pure self-publishing to traditional, and in between you have your vanity services where they charge for things, and your hybrid publishers where you partner and maybe you pay for some things and not others, or you donate your time and you get services for that, or you have to buy so many copies of a book, then you get services. So we're not set up that way. We're pure traditional. We don't charge you anything, but we are very careful about what we publish because we need to be able to sell your book. We want to sign books that we think can sell. So we've got thousands of manuscripts that come in a year. We publish about 100 of them. And like I said, in a variety of categories.
The marketing has obviously changed. And as a traditional publisher where you take on the responsibility of the success of the book, how has your marketing tactics changed?
Yeah, that's really evolved. In the old days, print advertising was the way to sell a lot of books. These days, it's more about earned media, especially with nonfiction. It's also, to some degree, social media. I think social media is overrated. And one thing I'll say about social media, especially in the present time, is in many cases, it's censored or limited by like a paywall sort of approach where you got to pay for access to your own friends or connections. And so it's getting more expensive to use social media. We're shying away from it. We found social media to be less and less effective over time. And that earned media. So what we do with the earned media is we're always looking for opportunities to get our authors participating online on podcasts, blogs, radio, traditional radio and TV. We are connected through the Cision platform to 3 million people in the media, and we pitch our authors and books into that network. So we will target certain people in the media for each book and see what happens, see what sticks. And all it takes is an appearance on a TV or a radio show that has an audience, or on a podcast or blog that has a good audience, and the book sales start to ratchet up. So we have found by bringing in-house our publicity capability and then using the Cision platform ourselves and managing that ourselves, we've had a tremendous benefit to that.
But in-house, you're bringing in the publicity or the publicists, and are they the ones finding these market spots for the authors?
Yeah, usually because we have access to that tremendous database that has, all the media people in it, from the very famous to the least famous, no names to, big time people. They're very hard to access. Obviously, you get their assistant. You don't get them directly usually. But we have access to that. We also have a list of people we've connected with in the past that we've had on TV shows, radio shows, and so on. And so once you make that first connection and you get something going, they're more apt to bring you back or bring another author on from Sunbury Press in the future. So we do that in collaboration with the authors, though. So we will plan that with them. Some of the authors already have some connections, maybe with their local media or someone they know, and they can make that connection, and that's fine. And then we try to add on to that, dovetail into that, and find other opportunities. And they can be local, national. It all depends on the content and who would be interested in it.
Should authors come with their manuscript and their platform to you when they're first pitching a book or an idea?
Well, we do. We have a submission process that we use, Submittable. You can get to it through our website. I would say 3 chapters for your manuscript. We do like to see a finished manuscript, though. You don't need an agent. You can come to us directly. Beyond that, the bigger the platform, the better. And we do ask that during our submission process. How many connections do you have? And what other appearances have you made? Those kinds of things we're interested in seeing. But that's not mandatory. Many of our authors are either new or up to mid-list and don't have a lot of media connections and don't have a large platform. So we work on helping to build that. But obviously, as we are sorting through the backlog of manuscripts, and we see this person has a great book and a platform, they're more likely to get a contract offer from us than someone who has a great book but no media platform. They're a little further down. So yeah, but it does matter.
So I'm going to switch gears here and ask about genres. What are the trends in genres right now?
Yeah, who knows? Because every day it changes. Like, I think there's going to be a need for a book on the statues that are being torn down, just to have a record of where they were and who they were and what they were about. I'm very into history myself, and we are always looking for nonfiction, history, biography, memoir, historical fiction, and then I do think there's a need for books about truth. So let's just put it out there: truth, fairness, equality, justice. These topics are all in the conversation every day, and sometimes to extremes. So we're always looking for new voices. We're always looking for inroads to meaning and understanding. But ultimately, our motto is continue the Enlightenment, and that's more about knowledge and reason and common sense, getting along, law and order, peace and quiet, education, growing spiritually, philosophically, building a society. I see a lot of the activity right now that's anti-civilization. It's definitely more about chaos and discord and anarchy, and that's not what we're about. We're more the other way, which is progression, building a better society, a better community in the long run.
Did you always want to be a publisher?
When I was really little, I used to glue pieces of paper together to make my own books, and then I'd draw on them. So when I think back, I've often said, no, that was never a thought, because I came upon it kind of in a roundabout way, and we talked about that in a prior podcast. But yeah, I'd have to say I probably was. I mean, I've always been into books as a reader, and I know that as a toddler, I was doing things to trying to create. I wouldn't call them books. They're probably a lot of sticky pieces of paper, but.
And what is your office space like? Do you continually write now just to keep yourself fresh?
Well, I have personally a long list of writing projects that I'd like to achieve, and people that I collaborate with. We've got some book series going, and just fun stuff that we do that are history oriented. So I need that outlet, though, to write from time to time. It does keep me fresh. I learn something every time. I like to do the research side of it as well. And a lot of the research that we do is actually getting out into the world and seeing things and going places. So that's fun as well.
I think I'm going to become a travel writer just because I love to travel and I love to go out and see the world as well. I've had the opportunity to travel recently as soon as things started opening up. And so that was really nice to be able to go to places I've not been before. And now that's become part of my bucket list, is to try new things. But Lawrence, we are going to switch now and move to our rapid fire questions.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What was your favorite class in high school?
Oh boy. I always loved American history because I liked the way the teacher presented it. I liked the content, but I think my favorite class in history was, I hate to say this is weird, it was English, because I really liked Mr. Haig, the teacher. He was just very disciplined, and it was a lot of fun. So not so much the subject matter, but the teacher made the difference for me.
Would you rather travel on a highway or a country road?
Oh, definitely a country road. Definitely.
And what's the weather outside your window right now?
It is 80s, partly cloudy, humid. It's unseasonably warm.
Unseasonably warm. Well, that often seems to be the trend. But Lawrence Knorr, thank you so much for joining me. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, the best way is through the website, www.sunburypress.com. You can contact us through there. You can get me directly on email, lknorr, so L and then my last name, KNORR, @sunburypress.com. And if you have a manuscript, I suggest using the submission process through our website. Just hit the call to authors, and then everything's explained to you there.
I love that. All in one place. We only have to type in a few keys, and we get all the answers we need.
That's right. Hopefully be doing business together someday with a book.
Oh, I love that idea. I will definitely be looking into it. Lawrence, once again, thank you for stopping by.
My pleasure.
You all have been listening to another edition of the Florida Writer Podcast. Allison out. Lawrence Knorr has been involved with book publishing since the year 2000. Lawrence's 30-plus year career in information technology has prepared him well for the age of content, the era of the ebook, data integration, e-commerce, and networks. Lawrence is the co-author and author of over 20 books. He is also an award-winning digital artist. Lawrence often speaks or is a panelist at numerous writers' conferences and book fairs. For more information about Lawrence, visit him at sunburypress.com. For more information about the Florida Writers Association, visit us on the web at floridawriters.com.